A heavy dark cloud drifted toward the road. It brings strong acid rain. The raindrops corroded the asphalt road instantly. A teddy bear melted in an instant. Cars gradually decayed under the acid rain's erosion. A cute baby lay in a car gazing at the sky. But the glass was about to melt as well. People panicked and ran in all directions. Mike was no exception. He rode his motorcycle, carrying his wife and son searching for shelter. Unfortunately, before long black smoke rose from the motorcycle. Behind him, a vast dark cloud loomed closer. So he gave the only helmet to his son. Then, he grabbed his wife and son running toward the forest. Even when his wife stumbled, Mike didn't stop. Instead, he encouraged her to get up and keep running. They only stopped for a short rest, when their son said he was thirsty. Luckily, the family soon found a shelter, but it was already occupied. The occupants held guns threatening anyone who approached. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out, making Mike's family drop to the ground in fear. The guards at the shelter drove everyone away at gunpoint. At that moment, Mike's son was severely dehydrated, and the last bottle of water had already been emptied. So Mike had no choice but to muster his courage and fetch water alone. The guards fired at Mike relentlessly, but Mike could only run for his son's survival. Luckily, no bullets hit him. He rushed into a house and turned on the faucet to collect water. Suddenly, the homeowner appeared pointing a gun at Mike. After learning that Mike only wanted water, the owner kindly allowed him to stay. At that moment, Mike had two choices. The first was to return to his wife. The second was to stay and let his wife fend for herself. In the end, Mike chose his family. Meanwhile, his wife was running desperately with their son. The boy asked why they weren't waiting for dad, but the mother had no answer. This only made the boy angry. He threw the helmet on the ground in frustration, and he refused to move no matter what was said. Behind him, the dark cloud loomed closer. The mother hugged her child in despair. Just as she was about to accept her fate, Mike found them. He hurriedly put the helmet back on his son, and led them away from the cloud. On the way, Mike came across an abandoned construction site. He picked up an iron plate from the rubble. Mike used the iron plate to shield his wife and son. At that moment, the dark cloud caught up to them. Mike was drenched from head to toe, but his skin didn't feel any pain. He looked up at the sky in excitement and laughed. But in the next second, something terrifying happened.